from the very beginning, you are drawn in and you want to learn so much more about this character. The dark background forces you to focus in on her and watch her movements. And the way she moves is so powerful because it's slow, but it still captures your attention the entire time. It's just, there's so much strength behind all of her movements. And it's as though all of her movements have a story of their own. And for that, I think that this was a very powerful and strong film that I very much enjoyed.
I thought this was so interesting. I really liked how kind of eerie it felt with the completely black and then her not quite in full white, but in like an off-white or a cream kind of color. That already to me set up a kind of eerie atmosphere, and then the music definitely added into it for sure. Completely added to the experience for me, especially because then when she's like falling and floating and they're obviously like playing with gravity and the different shapes that you can make and everything else, and while she's like moving or spinning the whole time, but the movement is so deliberate and it's so kind of stilted in a way, and I loved it. I thought it was so interesting, and visually it was just a lot to take in. I really enjoyed it.
It had a very dreamlike quality to it. I feel like I've had this dream many times, although it was a lot scarier than this. Something interesting was that when she took her first step off of the ground, she was actually lifting up, like she was floating. And then I wondered, was she falling or was she flying? And she just almost looks like a doll, kind of traveling through the air, traveling through the seemingly endless, never-ending abyss. And while that concept feels scary, and it would be probably if you were in a dream, watching it was very peaceful, very beautiful, and we're kind of watching it in slow motion, and so we see the beautiful ripples in her skirt and the beautiful poses that she has as she's flying through the air. It was very beautiful, like simple but exquisite and beautiful and to watch. I loved it.
Don't know how they did it, but it truly captured that sense of weightlessness. It was like a masterclass in capturing that through movement. And it found this gorgeous sense of the beauty in surrender. I also loved that it introduced it through the dancers still having that contact and almost testing out the waters before we get that full release. It was very cool.
I think for what this one is, it's done really well, shot really well. The movements themselves just seem really fluid and interesting. And I love it was done in slow motion the way it was done. The lighting, it's just all really, really sharp.
Exploration of mid-air movement, which is very much what this brief piece utilizes rather than just traditional dance choreography. And we kind of see the beauty in stillness rather than rapid movement in this piece, which is again something that makes it quite unique and different within this specific genre. We see and appreciate more placement of body parts, of head and neck, and can examine these things and interpret whether they have a greater significant meaning in themselves. How do we feel when we move or pose in this way? Do we feel a kind of stillness and weightlessness that seems to be experienced by the dancer in this? So a very interesting piece that is short, but leaves a lot to thought, most certainly.
It was an absolute mind hack for me. I felt complete weightlessness watching. Not that I want to distract from the magic of film and the art of deception, but this piece left me just pondering, was it animation? Is she suspended from wires? Is she in some kind of flight chamber? Or is it a combination of all? The lighting was perfect throughout and made the shadow dancer look super convincing. And overall, this piece was an absolute treat for the imagination.
Being a former production monkey, I pretty much spent the entire time watching Floor Falls wondering how you guys did that. It wasn't until the end that I saw that there was an aerial rigging assistant credited with the crew. So job well done, and tricking me and not being able to solve it. That's just how it is with me watching things like that. It was very beautiful. It was very cool to see. I was mystified by the method of it all and what was exactly happening. I thought the most beautiful shot was the image of her feet leaving the ground and what that must have felt like.